Okay, the big reveal in regards to life hacks. A little video he made with this U-Butte coil. Now he did have a Festine globe, which I don't have, so I was only using the small LED one that I had. Now some people thought there was some big induction coil under the table, or batteries in there, had little bits of wire sticking up that I was pinning instead of these two here. That's not the case, so we'll just put it back together using a bit of clear perspex, and I'll try and keep the camera a little stiller. Apparently some people were getting seasick in the last video, so but I like holding the camera because I can move around rather than having it fixed on a tripod, and that's why I hold the camera by hand. Makes it a little hard sometimes, but that's what happens. Alright, so our bit of perspex, plexiglass, whatever you guys call it over there, our double-sided tape to stick our coil on. I'm just going to stick that on the plexiglass, and peel off the protective backing. And take our coil. Now there's no brakes in this coil, and that's all it is. So we stick that on there like yay. We then take our two magnets and we put one on the back here. Try and get it nice and level. Like so, and then we put one on the front of the opposite pole so as it attracts, and that helps the whole shebang stay together. So there you have it. That is our power source, apparently. The other thing you need, of course, is your multimeter. And I have this one set on a 10 amp scale. As you can see, we have our zero reading, and then it was just a matter of grabbing a clip lead, hooking one side of the clip lead. We'll grab our bit of wood. Now this is just a plain bit of wood, it's just so we can stick our motor on there and get that spinny fancy wheel thing off the deck. Hold the motor still a bit, and you haven't put that in a very good position. And we put our one clip lead here, and of course set it to DC because this is a DC device. One there. One there, and away the motor goes. Like yay, 22 milliamps at whatever voltage is coming out of there. So that was that half of the show. Of course, Lifehack doesn't use a multimeter to show us how much current everything is using, and that's stuck to the magnet. He simply, now the other thing we did in the video is we have no globe here yet, so we just opened up our tray full of globes and we just grabbed the random globe, giving the illusion that it's just a standard globe. Now I will put this back down here again, and we've got to put our globe in our holder like yay. Now just while we're on the subject, that globe doesn't want to go in the hole. There we go. It actually took me 3 goes to get the correct globe because there's only one smart globe in that whole pack. And of course then we just done what we'll need another clip lead now. rusty. I did have a black one somewhere. Seems to have gone walkabout. Alright, well, so anyway, disregarding the other clip lead, we simply just he simply just has the globe straight across the coil, and Bob's your uncle, it works. So we could have just done a plain Jane video like that, but I wanted to chuck the amp meter in there. And we also used the amp meter to show you, now that we knew that it was working, that when we put the amp meter across the two terminals there, like so, I'll stick it back on, make sure it's on there properly so there's no trickery happening there. The other lead, like yay, amp meter's in there, and it's all hooked up correctly as it was, and as you can see the motor is not going, even though we knew the amp meter was working. And the clip leads are indeed on properly. So the way we went about this was, what you do is you need two amp meters the same. You need to draw a line or something, and I put a little dot there for those that wanted to look really close. And then you need to get another amp meter and make it look identical, and it's got the little dot down there as well. So the problem with this amp meter is the fuse is taken out of the 10 amp scale side, so it's actually open circuit, whereas this one is not. So if we take, we'll just move that one, if we take this amp meter here and hook it up to the two terminals like yay, the motor indeed runs. So that part of it, it's just a matter of ripping the fuse out, and you now have a convincing amp meter. The other part of it was I was using, wherever I threw that, in some of it, this black clip lead, which you never actually see me using. I may not have noticed, but you never seen me use the black clip lead when we were making the devices run, and that is because I simply cut the wires off. It's open circuit as well, and we also use this black clip lead on the teeny little light bulb. Now the light bulb was a bit more trick, because if we take the clip lead that works, place it across the light bulb comes on. So we now have a free energy device using only a light bulb and a clip lead. The light bulb was actually a little bit fiddly, but quite easy to do. Simply got an old garden light, because they got a nice small LED in them. And these light bulbs, all you have to do is desolder the back so the wire is not held in, and then you just give them a bit of a wriggle and they come apart. Now these little lights are actually neons. You've got a neon with a resistor on it, and these little LEDs happen to fit really nicely inside. Now you have a big empty casing here as well. It's just a matter of getting two little 1.5 volt batteries that fit nicely in that casing, and all I done was put a bit of heat shrink over the two batteries, heated it up, and of course it shrunk around the batteries, pulling them together for a good contact, and also insulating the positive side, which is the outer side of the two batteries, to the steel casing. It's then of course just a matter of soldering your wires. Of course one end of the LED, the negative end, gets soldered to the centre part of your battery, and the other wire, which is our red wire here, gets soldered to the back of one battery, and of course that centre pin on your LED will be soldered to the other battery, and the positive of the LED just sits up against the steel casing, which is where we have the orange wire soldered. So that's how all that works. The motor, it's probably a bit hard to open. That bit there doesn't actually spin. I just chopped off a bit of steel, I think it was a nice shiny nail, rounded the end off, glued it into the bearing, and made it look as though the shaft went straight through and the motor had not been tampered with. But inside this motor there is a little motor. Take that off and we look closely there, you can see it's an awfully big hole for a little motor, and that actually will move around because it's just held in there with a ring magnet that sticks the little motor to the casing of the large motor. And of course inside there is also two batteries similar to this but larger, and that gives us 3 volts, which is enough to spin that little gizmo there quite nicely. So a small motor and batteries inside here. We just used our modified dummy amp meter and clip lead to give the illusion that if we join these two wires the motor didn't run, when in fact it actually does. And same with the light bulb. The light bulb is just 2 little batteries like that, very small, and they fit inside the casing very nicely. Then you just solder it back up so it looks like that it hasn't been tampered with. If I can get that out again. It's a bit more tricky. So you just solder it back up so it looks like a U-Butte genuine light bulb. So yeah, it actually took me 3 takes to get the right light bulb out of there. You've just got to sit it in the right position, and then when you open the drawer make sure you grab the right one. So that's how I done it. Lifehack uses the other type of light bulb, like I said, the Festine. You do exactly the same thing, desolder the wires from each end, and 9 times out of 10 if you give the steel bits a bit of a wriggle on those globes, the glue lets go and the steel caps will come off. You'll be left with 2 wires, and you simply put one of these batteries each side. Now some will say that these little batteries won't drive a 12 volt globe. The fact is you can actually get them in 6 volts and 3 volts from any electrical hobby shop. And the 6 volt ones of course were used in the early VW Beetles because they were a 6 volt system. So that's how it's done, and that's how he's done it. No big induction coils under the table or anything like that. And it'd have to be one hell of an RF signal to get anything, or that coil to pick up anything inside that strong magnetic field. So that's how it's done, guys. And people are asking, why am I doing videos like this? It's fake, it's fake. Well, of course it's fake, but they're more than happy to believe somebody else that has a device like this. So the whole idea behind my videos is to show you how easily devices can be done to look like they work, like they shouldn't work, and make free energy. In actual fact they don't. The next video, you guessed it, we're going to be looking at a U-Butte fan motor. You know, the self-running fan motors. I've already glued the magnets on there, but once again we're going to make this one look as real as possible, and we're going to start from scratch, and we are not going to put any batteries in the device. We're actually going to go with a new concept. So that's what we will be debunking next. Alrighty, so that's it for me. Just make sure you listen at the end of all my videos, because if it's junk science like this, I will say do not waste your time, just as I did in the previous video in regards to this setup here. Thanks guys.